Okay.
Punjabi, Pashto, Sindhi, Seraiki, Urdu, and Balochi.
Okay, very good. Is there anyone who can add to this, to these languages? Not to repeat, but to add. Like, it is 5 languages which are mentioned. Can you add more? Gujarati, okay, Gojri or Gujarati, very good.
Sir,
Anyone else?
Bravi also.
Bravi, yes, Bravi. Spoken in
Hindko.
Balochistan. Hindko, yes, very good.
Seraiki.
Hindko. Anyone else?
Seraiki.
Sraiki was mentioned. Anyone else? Any other language? Bravi mentioned already. Bravi, Gojri, Hindko, addition to those 5 languages. Potawari, have you heard?
Yes, sir, it is.
Is in Potawar
Poto, yeah, Plateau, Potawari, and Gilgit-Baltistan. There is a very different language, which is Gilgiti or Balti language. Gilgit-Baltistan, they have their language. Kashmiri, they have their language. Kashmiris have their language. So actually, what were mentioned early 5 languages, these are major 5 languages which are spoken in Pakistan. Apart from these 5 languages, there are many other languages. Some of the languages are just dialect, mean they belong to the same language, but it has a different dialect, it has a different accent, vocabulary, etc., but falls into kind of main category like Punjabi, Sraiki, Potawari, Hindko. These are very closely related languages. Anyways, there are a lot of languages spoken in Pakistan, India, and this part of the world. So this is just a general introduction. Let's go through uh, the topic which is there. We are here to discuss 5 major languages which are spoken in Pakistan, and most of you, I hope that all of you know these 5 languages which are there. 4 of our provinces, one is our national language. Urdu is national language. Urdu is our national language, right? Is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or English is our national language.
Sir, Urdu, because it's our mother language.
It's mother language. It's maybe your mother language, but may not be somebody else's mother language. Mother language is something else. Mother tongue is something else, right? But Urdu is our national language. What is the status of English then? Why do so many people speak English? We are doing this in English. What is the role of English?
Their language is English, and they were born in England.
Who?
Sir, I think so for educational purpose, and their official documentation is.
Sir, English is
Okay, very
international.
good.
Sir, English is international language.
Okay. Two things which you told me here are valid. Number one, it's an international language, spoken widely, understood widely, modern innovation, inventions, discoveries, science, tech, education, researches, all in English, mostly in English, right? So it's an international language. That's why it's very important. We need to learn it. Secondly, in Pakistan, it has also special status. It is an official language. Your official language is English. Urdu is our national language. Apart from this, we have 4 provincial languages which are part of our syllabus: Punjabi, and then Pashto, and then Balochi, and then Sindhi. These 4 plus Urdu. These are part of our discussion or topic. Rest, there are other languages as you mentioned, a lot of them, but these are what we are going to discuss. Okay.
Sir, Seraiki
What are we?
Sir, Seraiki is spoken where?
Sraiki is mainly in southern Punjab. Okay, it is from Walid onward to
Sir, is it
Multan and
near,
Bahawal.
sir?
Yes, it is bordering with the areas bordering with Sindh as well. So it's in the southern Punjab,
Sir, it is
right?
also KPK,
Like
right?
Multan, Bahawalpur. It is. It is what?
Sir Kundi was saying it is in KPK as well.
Yeah, actually, when the areas which are bordering with other provinces, so language is at the border, like which is with KPK, with Sindh, even with Balochistan. So there is the areas in that area, language get mixed, and people speak those languages, like exchange those languages frequently. So yes, mainly it is spoken in southern Punjab. It is considered like a sub-dialect of Punjabi, because Sraiki is a different language, but they are one big family, like Punjabi and Sraiki and other different version of it. In this topic, we are mainly going to look at the development of a language, its little bit of history, its present status. So these are three things we will look at for each language. How did it develop since the formation of Pakistan 47? Develop mean that what did government do? And I hope you will agree that when there are educational institutions, when there are academies, when there are universities teaching a language, when there are degrees in the language, that means the language is being developed by the authorities, by the government. And if government does not support, mean if it is not on media, if it is not a medium of communication, medium of instruction, so then that language is kind of ignored, right? So we will see that what did our government, mean government of Pakistan, do to develop these languages since 1947. We'll discuss a little bit of his history of these languages, and we will discuss the present status of these languages. And we will talk about some of the great people who wrote some very powerful literature in these languages. So this is overall what we are going to do. Uh, Languages in Pakistan. Here you can see mention uh, some of the languages which you can now maybe a lot. Sraiki and Urdu, Punjabi and Pashto, and Brahvi and Balochi and Sindhi. These are the main. Rest mentioned here. Other we will discuss about these actually. Uh, Now, historical background of Urdu. So, Urdu is our national language. First of all, we will discuss that what's the background of Urdu. Is it clear? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All of you, huh? Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
Urdu is the latest language. It's a very young, latest language. It developed in the Indian subcontinent, okay, with the interaction of, you see this Indian subcontinent. What I mean by Indian subcontinent is before partition India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, all this area, right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So this whole Indian subcontinent before the partition was a very central point of interaction from different parts of the world. Mainly people came from Central Asia. Arab also came from the sea, Muhammad bin Qasim, if you remember. From Central Asia, which is
Yes, sir.
Western. Hmm? Yes. Who is there? Can you hear me, boys?
Yes, sir. We
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We can hear you.
So what I was trying to say is that this Indian subcontinent, this was not also the center of invasions, but this was also the route of trade from Central Asia via up to China and Mongolia and etc. So this was a middle, a point where people coming from different areas interacting with each other, and then so in this whole action, when Turks came, when Afghan, Persian, Arab, and they were Muslim, and especially when Muslim control India, I mean they established their rule in India. So with the interaction of Turks, Persians, Afghans, Arabs with the local people, mean local, then Hindi and Sanskrit and so many languages which are spoken in Indian subcontinent, Punjabi, Balochi, Brahvi, Pashto, Saraiki, etc. So when these foreigners, Muslim invaders, traders, and local people, when they embraced Islam, and with the interaction of all this, Urdu came into being. So Urdu is comparatively the latest language of the subcontinent. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that is why you see that now when you read Quran, and actually you are living in Saudi Arabia, so you have a good orientation of Arabic language as well. So you see there is a lot of common vocabulary of Urdu and Arabic language. And if you come to know about Persian, you will also be astonished, shocked that how much close Arabic is to Persian as well, right? Urdu is to Persian as well, and to Arabic as well. Have you noticed this thing?
Sir?
Hmm?
Sir, the Pakistan's national anthem is 99% Farsi. So,
Yeah, it's Persian.
what importance does Farsi uh, mean to Pakistan? Does it have on Pakistan?
Yes, Persian is a very important, was a very important language, especially during Mughal times and before. It was the language of the court, except language of literature and literary people. Even Allama Iqbal originally wrote his entire poetry in Persian, and
Sir,
he is very famous. He is very famous in Iran and Persian speaking areas and communities. So Persian had a big role. Persian is a very rich language. It has a great literature. So from literary point of view, from historical point of view, Persian is very important. Otherwise, as time changes, languages, their importance, their influence also changes. So now, as we know that we already discussed that English is the dominating language in the world. Why? Because it is spoken by a community which is ruling the world. So language that rules the world is the language of the people who rule the world. It goes like this. Once Arabic was very important language, when Persians were in full swing, their language was very important. Turkish was important. So it keep changing like this. Is it clear?
yes. And sir, is it
Okay.
true that Pakistan's official documentation was first Persian?
No, actually, it was during Mughal time. It was the language of the court, but we inherited entire system from British. India was a colony of the British, and our
I
first
thought that
constitution.
Farsi was the national language of Lahore, and the
It was
Mughals.
back. Yeah. It was back in Ranjit Singh time. I mean, local governments, when you are talking of India into different small states like Sikh kingdom was here. So during that period of time, it was very important language in this whole area in Punjab, Pakistan during Sikh time and in local different. So yes, in that sense, it was like the language. official language once, and Ranjit Singh actually did a lot to this, and other people also. So local princely states, they add their contribution to one or the other languages, because in India and Pakistan there are hundreds of languages spoken from one to another area, and every single area was involved in developing the language of their own culture and the area. So it's really a huge language community, this part of the world, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Urdu, as we say that subcontinent developed combining other languages widely in Mughal time. It developed, and it goes back to the sultans of Delhi, which was like 12th century when Muslim uh, established their rule in India. So with that, Urdu developed. Its meaning is Lashkari, language of the armies, because different armies interacting, and with this the language came into being. Urdu developed a rich literary, it has a rich literature and literary history. Amir Khusro is one of the earliest poets of Urdu language. Bahadur Shah Zafar II, the last emperor, was also a great poet. Other than this, Ghalib, I hope you know Iqbal, Dr. Muhammad Iqbal, Dar, Mir, Hasrat Mohani, Maulana Hali, and a lot to follow were great poets. Urdu prose also developed with the passage of time. Dipti Nazir Ahmad, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan himself, Shibli Nomani, and Maulvi Abdul Haq. He is known as Babai Urdu as well. Salman Nadwi, and there are so many other. This is just few people
Sir,
who are
Imtiaz
mentioned.
Taj as well. Imtiaz Taj.
Yes, Imtiaz Taj is also a great writer. There are many. Actually, in Urdu, we can't mention all of them, and maybe more important names missed, and some are mentioned here. But there is a long list, be it poetry or prose. There is a long list as far as Urdu is concerned. Faiz Ahmad Faiz, Ahmad Fraz, great poets. During Urdu also has a special importance for Pakistan. And what is that? That this language developed with the Pakistan movement as well. During the struggle for Pakistan, Urdu also played a great role. First, Fort William College took interest and introduced Urdu as a subject principle. John Gilchrist published Urdu Gazette. Sons of Shah Waliullah translated Quran into Urdu, so it has a great religious literature as well. Hindi Urdu controversy, 1867, if you remember, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan took a very active part and supported Urdu. Then later on, many great newspapers like Al Hilal or Zamindar, these papers were printed in Urdu, and big Urdu, this what we called literature or newspapers, etc., established with the passage of time. This is all related to before partition, that Urdu relationship with the Muslim and Pakistan movement is very clear here. Now, these are some of the great poets of Urdu. I hope you can recognize.
Sir, who is this left one? I can only recognize the right one.
You might be knowing Allama Iqbal, but not this guy, right?
Yes, sir.
Is
Sir,
there
this
anyone?
guy I think is wait.
Sir Ghalib.
No,
Sir Faiz, I think.
Faiz Ahmed Faiz.
Yeah.
Okay, so these were some of the great. Urdu as a national language. Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the first person, in a way you can say, that who forcefully during his lifetime, very clearly, he told to Pakistanis that Urdu will be our national language. Uh, Whereas you remember, if you will know, that Urdu at the time of partition was spoken by hardly 6 to 8% people. Uh, Spoken by 6 to 8% people only in Pakistan. Urdu was spoken by, whereas Bengali was spoken by 54% of the people. Punjabi was spoken by 46% of the people, and these were the big languages. But Quaid-e-Azam told categorically that Urdu will be our national language. Right? Is it clear? Okay. And we will discuss that why did Quaid-e-Azam and Pakistan say and select Urdu as a national language. We'll discuss it later. But it was very important language at the time of partition, and Quaid-e-Azam declared it as our national language. Modern poets and writers, Bano Qudsiya, Ishfaq Ahmed, Amjad Islam Amjad, Faiz, Parveen Shakir, Nisar, Nasir Kazmi, etc. Urdu is on media, lots of channels, news channels, drama, entertainment channels, theater, film, literature, books, even in the university. So Urdu is a very developed language in all sense. It's a rich language. It has a great history. It has a great literature. It has religious literature. Quran has been translated into Hadith and many things. Many poets and writers. So it's all in all, it's a very powerful language. Then Government of Pakistan since 1947, as I told you, that what government can do, our PTV, Pakistan Television, uh, actually played a great role in the promotion and development of language. Radio Pakistan has a great role in that. Then many universities, other institutions, they have Urdu department. Degrees from basic level to PhD level are done there, and literature. There are many other institutions that promote literature, print books, and all that. So all in all, Urdu is a powerful language. It's a rich language, and even recently, Pakistan courts, Supreme Court advised Government of Pakistan, passed instruction that Government of Pakistan should make it sure or should ensure that Urdu is to be introduced as our official language as well, and that we should replace English, and we should introduce Urdu. So Urdu has all the capacity to be a national language as well. The official language. This is languages native which are spoken in Pakistan now. Punjabi being the largest, 48% people, 12 Sindhi, Saraiki, Urdu 8, Pashto 8, Balochi 3, Hindko 2. So this is the general percentage of the languages spoken in Pakistan. So today, like in this lesson, we discussed about the background of the languages, and Urdu is a little bit background and how did it come into being, and the main poets and writers, etc., and its present situation. So what I would like now that you to read the language introduction in the book, and then Urdu part from there, underline and write some important points with you, so that you are able to compile a very good paragraph on Urdu, just Urdu language, its history, poets, etc. So this is your homework. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then
Can you repeat the homework, please?
just to read introduction and Urdu topic from the book, underline and take brief notes, and you should be able to compile a one good paragraph on Urdu language. Is it clear?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then take care, Allah Hafiz, and see you
Sir,
in the
like
next.
compile that. I mean that we have to write that Urdu paragraph, or just we should be able to.
No, you can take notes right in form of the points, and when we will come to question answer, you can take help, and then you will be able to write a paragraph. So if you don't compile a paragraph directly, it's okay. Just take notes of the important points.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, Allah Hafiz, take care.
Allah Hafiz, sir.
Yes, sir.
Allah Hafiz, Allah Hafiz,
Officer.
Allah Hafiz.